with plenty of twists and turns in the tale. Let's check out the highlights of the preliminary final.
The Tigers met minor premiers the Cats in the second preliminary final at the MCG. Dustin Martin received a knock to his leg which looked to hamper him early, and Jack Graham showed enormous courage to fight on after dislocating his shoulder in the first term.
Graham is in all sorts of trouble.
Big trouble with the right shoulder, BT.
Geelong capitalised, taking control of the first half. And with a 21-point deficit, Richmond looked to be in danger of falling at the penultimate hurdle for the second year running.
Ablett didn't have eyes on the footy there, Broad. Went and got an Ablett, took him on. He has to be gone, he is.
But the Tigers came out strongly in the premiership quarter, piling on 5 straight goals, thanks to an impressive display from Tom Lynch in the forward 50.
What have the Tigers got? Remember the Cats, they only concede on average 66 points a game this year.
Holding the ball advantage.
They are a tight defence, and Richmond are trying to smash through that. Preston on Lynch, and they're as strong a Dukes as you can possibly ask. A 30-metre kick for Lynch. Looks good, doesn't it?
He kicked 5 goals for the night, had 12 score involvements, and took 4 contested marks.
Lynch will mark it. He was always going to mark it. This for 5. Got it. 5 goals in a preliminary final.
Lynch was ably assisted through the midfield by Dion Prestia.
Look at Prestia. The human meatball goes long. Lynch got position again. Off hands. He's kicked 2. Richmond have got 3 in a row.
While Basher Hooley amassed 32 disposals off half-back.
Hooley, wonderful mark. He has just got better and better as this match has gone on. 21 points down at half-time. They pick themselves up, the Tigers, and they get to a second grand final in 3 seasons.
The two men next to me, both very influential in what turned out to be a fantastic hard-fought win. But Dion, things didn't go perfectly to plan early. Some injury concerns. The Cats led by 21 points at half-time. What was the mood and the messaging in the rooms at half-time?
Yeah, it was definitely a weird feeling in the rooms. For myself, I probably thought they were all done.
Really?
It was probably really thinking like, oh no, here we go again. You know, Geelong were on top of us. Really dominating the game, and I walked in probably thinking, oh, like here we go again. Like we're gonna lose another prelim, but I was just kind of hoping would come out and probably jump them as quick as possible in that third quarter, and just hoping that everyone else was on. So, I guess it wasn't great thoughts to have at half time, but I don't think I was alone in I guess that thought process.
Yeah, you definitely weren't alone, and I was another one who did think that the game could be over,
Is that the scars of the previous year coming back?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Definitely, I'm obviously feeling it the year before. I think Collingwood were a little bit further ahead that game, but you know, the mood was a bit dull. There wasn't much said. I mean, when we go into the rooms, we have a few minutes to ourselves, then we group into our lines, and I remember, you know, there wasn't as much said in my group, and when we went into the main room with Dimmer, he was all about trying to peg the game back. Yeah. Just nice and slow.
Back to 2017, I remember he said as well. It was a lot of, I guess, rolling back defensively, and he was just like, bring back your 2017. Let's just come forward at every single point. And we saw that tackle Cotchlade on Stanley in, I think, the first 5 seconds, I guess, of the quarter set us up for the rest of the game. I remember that clearly. Dimmer just saying, let's go back, get that feeling of 2017 back, and let's just hunt.
And that was the true test of this whole season, wasn't it? That moment there at half-time, and the test of whether the group's maturity and development had come on from 12 months earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, the mood wasn't great at half-time, but, you know, I think it was all about a moment that we were waiting for a player to step up, and there was none better than Trent Cotchin with that first tackle on Stanley. He really set the scene. I think, when you've got your skipper, put in that sort of effort, it sets the mark for everyone else. And the momentum started built there. I think we kicked 2 or 3 quick goals, and the game was very, very tight leading into the last quarter. And there was a quarter of it was a battle, and to see who can get the first or second goal, first 1 or 2 goals. But we grew belief, and thank God it was a skipper who set the scene in the third quarter.
Dion, in many ways, Tom Lynch was living the story you lived in 2017, coming from the Gold Coast, a team that hadn't had a lot of wins, to play on the big stage, and that night proved to be his moment. It was the reason you recruited him, it was the reason he came. 5 goals, he blossomed on the big stage of September. What a thrill, not only for him, but for the rest of the team as well. Yeah,
I guess the big stage is one that Tom probably prides himself. He had an amazing year, but his prelim was really amazing to step up and kick 5 goals. And I think Jack was probably a little bit more quieter that game. I think that's probably what he really prided himself in. I think we need to keep training for Gold Coast players, because every time we trade for one, we win one. So I think we've got a couple of weeks left to get one in.
Bash, the downside of the prelim, of course, was Jack Graham dislocated his shoulder, yet he played on, despite dislocating it 5 times during the game. What an unbelievably selfless and courageous effort that was.
Yeah, it was. And I'll be honest, I didn't actually remember the time he did this, but what I did remember was the message from Dimmer post-game saying that it's going to be an amazing story, amazing chapter of our history of this great football club. Jack Graham, putting himself aside and really battling for the majority of the game, and really helped us win the game. It's quite hard going to games or playing majority of the games with 1 or 2 guys less on the football field, but for him to put his hand up and say, "Yep, I'm going to battle on. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to do everything I possibly can to contribute, whether it's small, large, whatever it is." But definitely he's a massive chapter of our history. And for him to play that selfless role, particularly in that second half, was sensational and definitely helped us get the win.
At what point of the week did you find out he definitely wasn't playing, and what was that like for the rest of the group?
I think we found out on Thursday. So he trained normal. So we had a training session on Tuesday, a lighter session, non-contact, and he did everything right. I remember asking him, like, how do you feel? He's like, I actually feel way better than what I think. And then we had the Wednesday off, and I think Thursday afternoon is when he found out that they weren't going to risk him in the grand final. And I guess we found out during that afternoon.
Bash, the build-up to your second grand final in 3 years, how did the build-up compare internally for you guys the second time around?
I think it was more relaxed, to be quite honest. I mean, 2017 was a great story. Obviously, the year before, where we finished on the ladder, and for us to bounce back and to create a